It's February 7th, 2013. It is, I believe it's a Thursday. Let me check on the calendar. It is a Thursday. And tomorrow is Friday. Friday. And the school has already said that they are closing, and they haven't closed for any of the snow things that happened this year so far, which never happened before. But they closed already. Preemptively! So, I guess we're gonna get slammed with some snow. Let's find out. I've had warnings before. That didn't happen. But everyone's scared about this one. Everyone is really scared about this one, I guess. And it's Chinese New Year time. I think I might just be doing a video, a different type of video, soon. A friend of mine, let's just call him Carl. A friend of mine I was talking to, who talks to me chit-chatty once in a while, or sometimes every week or so. Sometimes twice a week. No, not really. Every week or so. At least a few times a month. It's like, oh, hi, on Facebook. And so we're talking about, like, different foods and stuff. And he's, like, Asian. And, we were talking about all kinds of food, yummy food or whatever. And, he was like, well, I like this or that. I mean, I think we talked about, like, Korean barbecue and, I don't know, other kinds of good stuff. And I was like, okay, well, do you like, 火锅? And he didn't know what that is, so, I mean, of course, not everyone does. And I was like, well, usually in English it's called a hot pot or Chinese hot pot. And he's like, nah, I don't know what that is. And I was like, well, it's also called, like, in Taiwan they call it shabu shabu, and then there's, like, in Japan they have a version of it, and Korea has a version of it, and I'm pretty sure that in Vietnam they have it, in other parts of South Asia. And it's basically like a pot of broth, and originally comes from North China, and they ate it in the winter to warm up. But now it's like there's modern versions of it. Original versions does not have seafood in it ever. It's like winter foods, like cabbage, different kinds of tofu, meat. It's like shaved steak, different types of shaved frozen meats, or just meats, mushrooms, usually stuff that's been dried and then rehydrated, but not necessarily anymore. And then what they would do is they would eat this in the winter to warm up, because I don't know, heating wasn't a priority for everybody in the north. So they eat this food to warm up, and he's like, no, I never heard of it. And I was like, okay, well, because we're talking about, like, New York or whatever, I think. And I was like, oh, there's some really good ones in New York. If you go to, like, the Flushing Chinatown, there's some good ones there. I can't remember which ones are what. And I was like, okay, well, next time I have some, I'll make a video of it and show it to you, because I'm nice like that. Anyway, so I will be making a video of that if I can, probably tomorrow or Saturday, because of the Chinese New Year thing. Generally on Chinese New Year you're supposed to, like, say, like, send all these greetings and call people you haven't talked to all year or years or whatever. I'm not really Chinese, so I don't really do that. I used to do that, but I feel like since I'm not Chinese, and if I do that, it, like, annoys people. But I noticed that, like, if you're Asian and you do that, people think that's cool. But if I do that, people think I'm a freaking weirdo. But I just breathe and people think I'm a freaking weirdo. Anyway.